Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Qur'an girl here, back. It is nighttime, so I had an early start yesterday, first thing in the morning, and today it was a long day. So it was a little bit of a later start, but here we are, alhamdulillah. And even though I still seem to be having technical problems, can't seem to get rid of the glare, I'll probably have to reposition this, but even worse, I don't know if you can tell from there, but everything I've written is backward. So it's kind of like this mirror effect that's been going on. Not sure what to do about it. I am not I'm just an amateur at the YouTubing. So any advice would be appreciated. I'll probably have to Google search it. Again, I'm doing this for my review for my exam, so it's like I'm not letting anything get in the way. I'm just going to keep going, and I'm going to keep chugging along despite anything that happens. I'm not going to let it stop me from giving you guys my little piece of review, which is me reviewing myself, of course. And I hope you enjoy and you guys are getting something out of it. So let's see. I am looking at the SlideShare. Remember, this is the Tajweed Lessons Point of Articulation English by Rana Sadi, who's posted it, that I found that I'm actually following here, which is going to help you. And the one that we are now at is, we've got 2 left. Do you remember what the other ones were? Can't see it, but I listed it here. We did Makharij al-Jawf, which is the Maddiya sound of Alif, Waw, and Ya. We did Makharij al-Halq, which is the 3 different parts of their throat, right? Hamza, Ha, Ain, Ha, and Ghain, Kha. And then we did Makharij al-Khayshum, which is the Mim and Noon sound, and it has to come from the nose because of the Ghunna, which is the characteristic of Mim and Noon. So we have 2 more, and those are the ones I'd like to cover today. The easier one is Makharij al-Shafataan, lips. Those are Ba, can't say Ba without your lips, Mim, so or Ba. They both need the lips. So you're asking yourself at this point, I've seen Mim before. It was in Makharij al-Khayshum, right? So it's from both. It has 2 articulation points. It starts from the lips, but the sound is coming from the nose. Alright, from the Khayshum because of its Ghunna property. So those are easy. Those are Makharij al-Shafataan. Now we're getting to the interesting one. Makharij al Lisan. Now, the way that we use our lisan in Arabic, we divide it into 3 main parts, right? Just like we did the throat in 3, Aqsal, Wast, and what was the first one? Hafat, right? We're going to do the same thing, sorry, not Hafat, it was Aqsal, see, even I need to review once in a while. The 3 parts of the throat is the Aqsa, which is the farthest. Wasat is the middle. Now, if this was a class, I'd be like, all right, class, you can tell me what the beginning of the harf is. But I am actually going to look it up because this is how I'm going to review and remember these things. Otherwise, I will not. Adna, right? Now I'm not going to forget. Adna is the upper throat. Adna. Adna. Upper. We got it. With the tongue, there is no Adna. We're not going to be talking about the upper part of the tongue as Adna. We are going to be talking about Aqsa. Alright, Aqsal Lisan. So you're thinking of a sound that comes all the way from the back of your tongue. All the way back there. Can you think of what they are? The 2 sound the same. They're 2 letters that come from Aqsal Lisan. They are qaf and kaf. Qaf and kaf. That's Aqsal Lisan. So we've got one part of Lisan. So Lisan is broken into 4 parts, all right? Just like how the different articulation points are in 5 different groups, Lisan is quite a big group. So it has its own 4 subgroups. The first is the farthest. It's qa, aqqa. See that? You can see the darkness when you're looking at it. Aqqa, aqqa, right? And ek, ek. You can still see it's using the back of the throat. In fact, the specific parts that it is using is the deep tongue area and the soft palate. So those are both Aqsal Lisan. The second one is called Wast al Lisan. We talked about the word wast before. That is the middle part of the tongue. Wast al Lisan. There are 3 for this one. Jim, Sheen, and Ya. Now remember, if you want to know where the sound of a word originates, you are always going to put an alif before it or a hamza with the letter that you're trying to discover where it comes from with a sukoon on it. So with Jim, we're going to say edge, edge. To know if you're pronouncing it correctly, you need to know that you're using the middle portion of your tongue. Middle portion, not the back. Edge, edge, edge. So this middle portion of the tongue is hitting the hard palate, right? Before we talked about the back, the Aqsal Lisan, hitting the soft palate. Now we're talking about the middle portion of the tongue, hitting the hard palate. And that makes the sounds aj, or ash, or ay. Right now, we're only focusing on where the sound is coming from. Clearly, these 3 sounds are completely different from each other. But the way I'm going to present it to you is grouping them by different things. So this is grouping by articulation point. Grouping by makhraj. Where is it coming from? What's the articulation point? So aj, ash, or ay are wast al lisan, hitting the hard palate. Now, the third category is Hafat al Lisan. Hafa is the sides. We're using our sides of the tongue. Both these sides. How do you use the sides? All right, there's 2 letters that go in this category. Dad and lam. When you say dad, dad, your tongue, both sides of it, are hitting the top of the teeth. How does it explain it here? Just says edges of the tongue, right? So the edges of the tongue are hitting the teeth. Ad, ad, ad. It's kind of like ad, ad, ad. Hopefully you can see that. And then there's L, 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 L. The sides of the tongue are still hitting the teeth back there, even though you can see it here. L, right? A little harder to see that. But that also uses the sides of the tongue. And it says in the notes here, between the edge of the tongue and gums. So that's why you can see it at the front there too. Alrighty, that is Hafat al Lisan, the sides of the tongue. And the last one is called Tarf Lisan. Tarf Lisan is the, right there, the top tip. The very tippy tip is called Ras al Lisan. Because it's like the head of the tongue. So the tip of the tongue, ta, 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 da, da, noon. Again, that also belongs with khayshum. And So with khayshum, you find the noon, and you're also going to find the noon with the Tarf al Lisan, the tip of the tongue. Ra, 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 ra. Now, that is also known as Ra's Lisan. That's a separate rule for Ra, but we'll just consider them all right now in this category. Then there's Az, Z, Z. See how we're using just that tip of the tongue? As, As, S, Eth, Eth, Elf, and Eth. So, Ra, Sad, Sin, Dhal, Ta, Dha, Tha, Ta, Dal, Noon, and Ra. The easiest way to remember is finish off with all the other three categories, the Aqs, the Hafat, and the Wast lisan, and when you've done all the rest of the letters, they fall into this category, which is Tarf lisan. Ra is also known as Ra's lisan rather than Tarf, because Ra, it hits the upper tip and the hard palate. So I think I explained it a little bit. Just to clarify it, Aqsal is the farthest, Aqsal lisan. Wast lisan is the middle. Then we have Tarf al Lisan, which is the sides of the tongue, and then Hafat al Lisan, sides of the tongue, and Tarf al Lisan, which is the tip of the tongue. All right, and Ra's actually means head in Arabic, so the head of the tongue is the Ra. And that is all for today. Clearly, the lighting is better at this time of the day. Need to take care of that glare. Need to figure out how to switch this so that you're not seeing everything the opposite way. And hopefully when I am more awake tomorrow and do it in the daytime, we will not have the few errors that I had today. But hey, it's YouTube. It's my first times doing a channel like this. It's all part of the fun. Take care. Have a wonderful night. Good night.